Hey guys, what's going on? If you're new here, welcome. My name is BrittanyNichole, and today we're doing a full face of makeup using my favorite makeup of 2020. I will say a lot of these are affordable finds. I think there's only 2 high-end products in here. I am giving you some like alternative high-end products, but you'll see that in the video because I am truly a drugstore girl at heart. I love drugstore makeup. I love affordable makeup. I think the drugstore has come a long way, and by 2025, I bet most of you are gonna be buying your makeup at the drugstore because they just continue to advance in their quality and in their performance. So a lot of this is affordable makeup, and some of these are repeats from 2019. Last year, I kind of categorized this out into like favorite blushes, favorite bronzers, favorite foundations, and I have just kind of put myself on a little bit of a no buy this year. I only allowed myself to buy makeup if I really, really wanted it, and that allowed me to really appreciate what I had in my collection. So a lot of these have been really loved and really used over the last few years, and I'm super excited to be sharing them with you. So if you're interested in seeing my favorite makeup products of 2020, go ahead and keep watching. So we're gonna jump right into it with primer. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer. It took me all year to remember how to say that, but we're finally there and we are proud of ourselves for that. But this is by far my favorite primer. I'm not gonna go into too much detail in this video because I've been using these all year long. So just check out past videos, past Get Ready With Me's if you wanna see more of these products. But this is just a really, really nice hydrating primer. You'll see once I put it on, it really makes my skin look plump and hydrated. I'm actually almost out of this, which says a lot because I've already gone through, I think, 2 other bottles. See how hydrated and dewy and glowy, obviously a little bit of redness there as well because I was touching my face, so now the blood flow is coming to the surface. But it looks just better than it did before I put on my primer, and now I'm gonna be ready for my next step, foundation. I talk about this in my Technique Tuesday face primer edition video. That's why I like to go in with primer. If I was going in and doing my makeup right after my skincare, I might not go in with a primer because my base is already prepped. It's like a painter going out and buying a blank canvas. They're gonna prime that before going in with the paint. It's the same thing when you're going in and doing your makeup. Now I've got hydration, my face is a little more plumped, and there's also gonna be a nice little slip when I go in and apply my foundation. So really important steps. Sometimes I even go in and apply a primer when I'm not going in with any makeup at all, especially before like a Zoom conference or something like that, because it just makes my skin look a little more glassy, a little more dewy, and a little more hydrated. So like I said, next up we're going with foundation, and this is by far my favorite foundation, my most used, my most loved, my most repurchased of 2020. I almost said 2019. The Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I always think it's funny how the primer is called Hydrating Hyaluronic and the foundation is Hyaluronic Hydrating. You would think they would have made them the same, and I always get confused by it, but this is such a beautiful foundation. I'm gonna start to apply it as I talk about it here. This shade is a little bit dark for me because I was using it all summer long, so I definitely need to go get a lighter shade, but I love the consistency. It's a nice medium coverage. You can probably build it up to full, but I don't typically do that. It's got a really nice consistency, so it's really blendable. It lasts all day. It doesn't sink into any of my fine lines. I think they have a really, really good color range, and it's just all around a great foundation that I think each and every one of you should try. It's not crazy expensive. You can get it at Ulta or on Colourpop, and yeah, I'm just a really big fan. It doesn't look too hydrating when you're done. You'll see when I'm done here, but it's not super matte. It's not like a satin finish. It's just perfect. It looks like skin, and the most important thing, like I said, is it lasts all day. I really like that. Anything that sinks into my fine lines, I'm not huge into, so I've just really been loving this year. This really replaced my Physicians Formula. Why can't I remember the name of it? I'll put a picture up here, but that was my go-to foundation for so long, and since they discontinued it, I didn't want to use it as much, and this really took its place. So if you loved that Physicians Formula foundation, give this a shot. So that was just one pump all over the face. You can see it's really evened out my skin tone. I don't go in and build up. I like my skin to look like skin. I apologize for the noise. People are driving like crazy today and my windows are right there. I just figure you guys can ignore it. I do apologize. One day I hope to have a studio where there's gonna be no sounds at all, but we've got to deal with what we've got to deal with for now. But anyway, I like my skin to look like skin, so I don't mind if there's a little bit of imperfections kind of peeking through. Like you can see a little bit of redness there. We are gonna go in with concealer as well, but just like I said, all around fantastic foundation. All right, so now you're gonna start to see the theme. If you guys are new here, I really like hydrating products. My skin likes that. I'm not super dry, I'm not super oily, but when it comes to makeup, my skin definitely prefers a more hydrating product versus something like a satin or matte product. So next up, I have the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. Fell in love with this concealer from the moment I purchased it. I gotta say, I was not a fan at all of the matte version of this, the original Camo concealer, and I just do a little bit right there and a little bit right there. I've got a little bit of discoloration in the inner corner, and I always have a little bit of like raw red skin on the outer corner, especially in the winter time. So that's all I do with my concealer personally. But I fell in love with this because I don't have to set it. It sets itself down and it blends super easy. It doesn't settle super heavy into my fine lines whatsoever, and I have a lot of fine lines under my eyes. It lasts all day. It doesn't fade in pigmentation, and this bottle has lasted me all year long. I mean, you know, I go in with only a little bit of product at a time. I'm not like covering my entire face with concealer, but see how easy this blends out? It's just really effortless, and I think it's like $8. And this is one you can definitely build into full coverage. I'd say right off the bat, it's medium coverage, which I prefer once again, but if you wanted to layer up, you absolutely could. All right, next up is bronzer, and this was actually in my favorites of 2019 as well. It's the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It. I should get another one of these because I broke off the cap. That's how much I use it. Whenever I need a bronzer, I'm pretty much going in with this. It's so pretty. You could see in the pan, it has a nice kind of satiny finish, but it doesn't look glittery or anything like that on the skin. I'm not somebody who wants to go in and look like I've been on a beach vacation. I really like a nice cool toned natural looking bronzer, one that you can't really detect on the skin. And that's exactly how I feel this one is. I mean, you could see it's pigmented. I love the undertone. It always comes off a little red looking on camera, but it's not. It's perfect for my skin tone. So if you're a skin tone that's close to me or we match in foundation shades, I think you'll really like this. I have the shade Light 01. Usually I go for more of like a medium bronzer, but in this one, light works for me, and it just blends really easy. Again, it has a really nice natural finish. It's not too matte, it's not too dewy, and it's lasted me a really long time. I'm in love with it. It's also really nice and buildable, which I really appreciate in a bronzer. And after I go in with my bronzer, I always take my foundation sponge and I just tap over the edges, sometimes even on top of it, to really make it look seamless. Can you guys tell my sweater was folded right there? I cannot get rid of that crease. So next up we have blush, and this is one blush in particular. It's the Burt's Bees Blush with Bamboo in the shade Bare Peach. I pretty much grabbed for this all year long. So I did want to mention the Milani powder blushes as well. These are really two of my favorites. I think I did grab for the Burt's Bees more this year because it was a little newer to me and I was excited by it, but the Milani, these are really tied. I just happen to not grab as much for the Milani. So either one of these, but we're gonna go in with the Burt's Bees today. It is so pigmented. It's very natural looking. There's a little bit of a glow to it. So you really don't need to go in with a lot. It's a very soft blush though, so don't jam your brush into it. And just watch, this will be more than enough, maybe even for both sides of my face, if I don't get a brush hair on it. I have to like poke my cheek out like that when I apply my blush. I know it's not cute, but it's what I do. I mean, it's really gorgeous. It's so stinking pretty, and even though it's like a peachy tone, it totally kind of pulls pink if you change your makeup. Like if you do pinkish eye makeup, it kind of pulls pink. It's like, It's just perfect. If you are gonna get one color from the Burt's Bees collection, I definitely go with Bare Peach. So we're obviously doing this in the order that I do my makeup, which is probably much different from the way you do your makeup. So if you think I'm jumping around here, just know this is how I apply my makeup. So we're going in with setting spray, refreshing spray, primer spray. I feel like everyone has the same name now and they say they do all three. So I could not decide between two because I used both of these this year like crazy. So we have the NYX Bear With Me Prime Set Refresh Spray. I think I went through like 3 bottles of this, and then I have the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. If you couldn't tell, I love the Pretty Fresh line. I just don't like the Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer at all, but I went through 3 bottles of this as well. I love both of these. They pretty much have a similar mist. I'll show you. So Colourpop's on the top, NYX is on the bottom. So hopefully you guys can see they're both very, very fine. So either one of these, I think you'll get the same kind of effect. What this does for me is just takes down any kind of powdery look to your face. Now you guys know I'm not like setting my face at all, but obviously I went in with powder bronzer, powder blush, so this just really melts the skin together. You can get NYX at like CVS, so it might be easier to get than Colourpop. You'd have to go to Ulta for that. So I'm just gonna spray them both on my face. And that's all you need. I think the NYX might be a little more aggressive, but not in a bad way, but you really only need a few sprays. Don't be confused by us on YouTube. Sometimes we'll be like all over the face and you just get carried away with it. You really only need a couple of spritzes, and while that's drying down, sometimes I'll take a fan and dry down, but I always take my sponge again and just press everything down. And this is a step that I feel like is necessary because it really melts everything together and makes your makeup look super natural. Not supernatural like you have powers or anything like that. Supernatural like really natural. So next is highlight, and you guys know from all of my videos, I'm going in with the Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Highlighter in Daybreak Glimmer. This is so beautiful. It's like butter on your skin. I can't believe this isn't a high-end highlight. It's so buttery. I originally found this at Walgreens before it was like, see, it's like one of those wet, buttery highlights that you want in your collection. I really haven't grabbed for any other highlights since I got this. You only need a tiny little bit, and you could see it's super reflective. But again, like I was saying, I found this at Walgreens before it was even popular, and I bought it because I thought it kind of looked like that Amrezy highlight, and I've never tried that, but in my mind, this is a dupe. And again, you know, grabbing the sponge, so it, see, watch, I'll show you here. See how that's a little intense for what I like. Taking my sponge, nothing's on it, and I'm just pressing it in, and you'll see it's gonna melt it right into the skin. See? Gotta love the beauty sponges. And this one is from AOA Studio. It's another favorite of this year. AOA Studio Paw Paw Sponge, $1.55. These are amazing. Next up we have brows, and I have the Milani Precision Brow in medium brown. This is the best eyebrow pencil I've ever used by far. I fell in love with it. This is my second, and I have like, I think 5 different colors. Milani actually sent me a PR package this year, which was amazing. What a dream come true. And they included this, which is how my eyes were opened to it, and I just fell in love. The pencil is so thin, and the color, if you like a cool undertone brow pencil, is just perfect. Give my eyebrows a break. They are not looking good. I just have no desire to go get them done, like at all. So I'm just letting them do their thing and occasionally grooming them, but it's really pigmented. I'm barely touching my skin. So you get your brows done really quick. I love the pencil. Like I said, it's really nice and thin. I love the formula. It blends really nicely. So if you accidentally go in a little too heavy, there's some wiggle room, and you got some forgiveness with this product. I just love it. It's made doing my brows a lot more enjoyable this year. I mean, see how beautiful that is? It really does look like my brow hair color. It just fills it in beautifully, and once I go in and set them up, It's just perfect. My eyebrows really need to be shaped, like really need to be shaped. Maybe I need to go make an appointment. But anyway, that's the brow pencil. Beautiful, love it. I think it's like $8.99 or something like that. Super affordable. I'm sure you can get it cheaper at like Walmart or Target as well. So next up we have brow set, and this was definitely part of my 2019 favorites. This is the only brow set I truly love. If you like a brow that looks like a laminated brow, if you need a brow product that is like glue and will stop your brows from going downwards, my brows do that automatically all day long, get the Benefit 24-hour brow set. This is the only thing that I use. It really is like glue for your eyebrows, and I like getting the mini versions because I tend to throw these out quicker than I can use all the product. I think this mini version is like $14 and it lasts a really long time. See how much better it looks? This is my bad eyebrow, by the way. Normally I do my good side, which is this side when I demonstrate products, but I mean, keep in mind my brows have to be groomed and they're a little long, but when I set them up like that, see how much better that looks? I mean, to me, this looks a lot better than this. These will not move all day long. I absolutely love it. It is the only brow set you will ever need in your lifetime. I have an honorable mention for the blush bronzer highlight. This is still available in the Chloe version on the Becca website for a reduced amount. It's been on there for like a really long time at the reduced amount, but it's the Becca, Chloe, and Malika like Chloe palette. This has the bronzer, blushes, and highlight, and I still use this all the time. I just don't know how long it's going to be available, which is why I didn't want to include it. I wanted to include products I knew you could get. Just put my finger through that. That's great, but I still absolutely adore this product. I love it because it's got 3 products in one. They have a very glowy finish that just looks beautiful on the skin, and it just makes life really easy just having all 3 products in one. So still really love this, and if you can get your hands on it, get it. It's so worth it. And in all honesty, at the sale price, which I think is about $30, it's probably cheaper than buying a drugstore bronzer, highlight, and blush at this point. All right, so when it comes to eyeshadow, and I'm not gonna go in and do a full eyeshadow tutorial because this video would be forever long, and I've done 2 very detailed tutorials on it, but the Raw Beauty Kristi X Colourpop All Forest Sight Palette takes the cake. I know this is kind of new still, but I've just absolutely fallen in love with this. In this short period of time that I've had this, I have applied more eyeshadow and wanted to play with more eyeshadow than I have all year long, which says a lot. So this one absolutely takes the cake, but I also wanted to say, you know what, I need to get rid of these creases because it's pissing me off. But with that said, any Colourpop palette that I've had, I've fallen in love with. I love every single palette I've ever purchased from them. They really do it right, and they're really affordable. But I also wanted to mention all of the Alter Ego palettes. If you guys don't know about Alter Ego, they dupe high-end palettes. So, you know, Natasha Denona, Huda Beauty, they dupe them for a much more affordable price. I think I have a coupon code with them. It's not an affiliate link. I do not make a single penny, but I think it's like 10% off. If I still have it, I'll list it down below. But these are also very nice formulas, so I wanted to mention both of them. If I had to pick one for the entire year, the At Foresight hands down takes the cake, steals the show. I don't know, sometimes I make up like sayings in my head by combining 2 other sayings, but they're all really good. So if you can get your hands on a Colourpop palette, try to get your hands on this. I think they just restocked it, actually. I wonder if it's sold out. I don't know, I'll list it down below if it is, but any other color palette will work. And definitely check out the Alter Ego palettes, they are awesome. Remember when I said I wasn't really gonna do anything with eyeshadow? I don't know what took over me, but this only took like 10 minutes. Super easy, just a couple eyeshadows. So let me know if you wanna see a tutorial on this. I can definitely do that, but I used the Kristi and Colourpop All Forest Sight palette. I used the Colourpop Sweet Talk palette. This is such a pretty palette, remember this one? And then I used the Alter Ego Daydream palette. I mean, come on. The only glitter I have on my eyes, which is obviously in the center and under the lower lash line here, is this guy right here. It has kind of like a tacky base to it. How pretty! I love it. so stinking pretty, so stinking easy. So all three palettes, you can see why they're my favorites of 2020. All right, so next up we have liner, and my favorite liners for 2020, even though I haven't had these that long, from the moment I started using them, not this collection, I just purchased this collection on Black Friday, but it's the Colourpop Cream Gel Liners. They are so creamy. They last such a long time. They literally go on your waterline like butter. It's beautiful and they last all day. So I'm thinking I'm gonna grab something from this end here. I think it might be pretty, hello words, to go in with something like this purple or maybe even this maroon to kind of complement the look, and you guys will see how easily these go on the eyes. Normally I would use my sponge to do this, but I'm just gonna like, look at how easy. Beautiful, just beautiful. Hopefully it doesn't look like I'm a vampire now. Oh well. And then for the upper waterline, I'm gonna go in with the Raw Beauty Kristi Colourpop Woodsy. This is the most beautiful brown liner ever. You know what else? Sometimes I struggle with my liners transferring down to my contacts. I struggle with loose powders with that all the time. If I apply a loose powder anywhere near my eye area, it somehow transfers to my contacts. Doesn't do it at all with this. All right, and finally, and this is no surprise, this was included in my 2019 as well. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions. I have the crystal color, which is brown, and then I have Bryn, which is black. I have a couple of these. Beautiful, most used, longest lasting, best results mascara I've ever used in my entire life. I'm gonna go in with Bryn today. This truly makes my lashes look so long. I love that it does not transfer whatsoever. I love the color of it, and most importantly, it comes off easy at the end of the night. This is a tubing mascara. Somehow this stuff like does not dry out. It's crazy. I have to like throw it away after like 6 months because I just know it's time to get rid of it, but it will last much longer than that. I've never had an issue with this drying out ever. It's so beautiful. I know it's a little more expensive than a drugstore mascara, but you guys, it's so worth it just for the way it comes off alone. I mean, okay, that's not true because the way it makes your lashes so much longer. I mean, I am not even done with this and they already look way longer. That's one part, but also I cannot stand when I'm going to take off my mascara at the end of the day if I have any kind of like black left over. I cannot stand that. I don't know why it irritates me so much, but it does. So something like this that just comes right off because it's a tubing mascara. You don't even need anything but soap and water. It is the absolute best. A drugstore option, which I still love, I just haven't repurchased because I love the Thrive so much. I mean, look at the difference. That's insane. It's truly insane. But a good drugstore alternative is the Maybelline Snapscara if you wanted something a little cheaper, but this is definitely better. There's some things in life like this and the Benefit 24-hour brow set that are just worth the extra coin, and that is all there is to it. I think I may have mentioned these. I'm not sure if I've done a favorite lip products ever, but the LA Girl Perfect Precision Lip Liners are my favorite. You can see I pretty much have every color. Two of them I think are the same, these two, but that's actually what I'm gonna use today. It's the Sugar and Spice. This is my most used lip pencil, and I just really like a wooden lip pencil. I think they're easier to work with. I think that mechanical lip pencils don't allow me to get the precision I'm looking for, so I really like that I can sharpen a wooden one, and these are just as good as the MAC lip liners, just like probably a tenth of the price. I think these are like $2.99. All right, and as for lipstick, you guys know I have fallen in love with the Revlon Super Lustrous Lip Shine. This formula is so beautiful. You don't need to go in with a gloss because these are glossy enough. I love how you can go in and make it really sheer or kind of build it up. They are so gorgeous. So I think for today, I'm gonna go in with Nude Illuminator and see how that looks. All right, that complements these eyes so perfectly. See how juicy they look? It's so comfortable, and I have really dry lips right now, like really dry, and you can't tell at all because of the gloss effect, and I just love it. I love not having to apply a gloss on top of it. So that's it for my favorite makeup of 2020, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, I know some of these are repeats from 2019, but I found some really good stuff in 2020. So please let me know down below if you made it this far, what your favorite holy grail makeup product was from 2020, and if it was a new find in 2020 or an old favorite. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, as always, let me know down below. Otherwise, if you're interested in seeing any more videos from me, please subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.